When it comes to the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, there are a few names that have become synonymous with the club's name. Names like Cisco, John the Baptist, Jethro, George Christie, Rain Man, and so on. But there's one man's name that stands way above the rest. That's Oakland member turned Cave Creek member, Sonny Barger. Sonny's entire adult life is geared towards one mission: making the Hells Angels the most respected, maybe feared club in all of the world. Ask any normal citizen and they'll tell you, Sonny Barger is the president of the Hells Angels, the national, whatever. They'll tell you under his rule, the Hells Angels went from a California club to the world. Now, what if I told you that Sonny's actions weren't always up to the club's standard? What if I told you further, some of Sonny's actions would have gotten any other member kicked out of the Hells Angels? Finally, what if I told you there was evidence that Sonny Barger was out bad when he passed away? What? Sonny wasn't a Hells Angel when he died. I have all that and much more. This is who I was, but it's definitely not who I am. Welcome to Vegas Profile Stories. Let's get it. What's up, everybody? This is my nephew, Mikey. Mikey, say hello.
What's up?
Well, he wasn't looking at Suge anymore, but now for the first time he's looking at me, and I'm asking him who shot him, and then he looks at me and he says,
Hey, YouTube wants a sock check, homie. Let's see them socks.
Yeah, what's going on, dog?
Well, my name's Chad Hauer. I'm also known as the TikTok fugitive. I've been wanted by the FBI and Interpol for 17 years.
Did it leave a mark?
Yeah, right there. Oh. Betty! Pee-wee.
This is it.
This is it. So Rob from Ventura.
Yeah, and other places amongst the world.
BA. Last time we were talking, we started to talk about...
I can handle myself. I ain't never been no coward or needed people to, fight my battles.
Well, that was a little extra. My let's get it just right on out the window. Damn. Boy, if you don't get your life together, I swear to God, Rick. Now, there's an old saying. You either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. With a half century in the club, Sonny had reached basically godlike status. I'm sure if you dig through a 70-plus year portion of anybody's life, you're bound to come across a couple of skeletons. You're gonna find something you don't like. Most of the time, those are small things. Maybe they make you look not so good. This isn't that type of party, though. The things I'm about to tell you 100% happened. Above that, they should have gotten Sonny kicked out of the Hells Angels in bad standing. Now, as many of you know, Sonny has an amazing criminal record. Spanning decades, this dude has been arrested for a plethora of things. One of these things was a trumped-up charge. They tried to pin a murder on Sonny. Sonny fought it. 14 months he was in jail. He was away from the club, pretty much. Ultimately, Sonny fought and he won, and he was released. While Sonny was away, quite a bit was happening. Cisco had taken power of Oakland and become basically the new Sonny. George Christie, he was busy down south. He was in the LA area, Ventura. He was doing his thing. Now George, he had this girl, we're going to call her Z. They had quite the tumultuous relationship. On again, off again. George finally had enough. He banished Z from being around the Hells Angels, 86'd her, said, you're not allowed around. I don't want to see her around any clubhouses, any functions. You're done. Now Sonny gets out. When Sonny comes back to Oakland, he quickly realizes the clubhouse is no longer his. That's when Sonny starts looking for an exit. He starts thinking about where he wants to be. Now, he was in prison in Arizona, and he liked the weather. So Sonny's steadily thinking about how he's going to start a charter in Arizona. On the love front, Sonny meets a new girl. We're just going to call her Z. Oh, shit. That's right. Sonny starts dating Z, who George had banished from the club. He just takes that 86 that George put on her and throws it away. He says, it doesn't work like that. So imagine you're George Christie. You have this woman you don't want to see anymore because you guys have bad blood. Your brother, he comes around with that woman, says you got to eat that, deal with it. It is what it is. Basically, Sonny told George, hey man, fuck your feelings. Now George has to go to club functions and see the woman he can't stand around somebody he thought had love for him and he thought he had love for. It's a cold world out there. That's betrayal on a different level. It's definitely disloyalty. That whole bros before hope, nope. Threw that right out the window. All that I got my brother's back, not in this one. And there's nothing anybody can say. It's disloyalty at its finest. It's dirtbaggery, scumbaggery, buffoonery. This is what started the beef between George and Sonny. This was the catalyst for it all. This was the bad blood. That bad blood eventually possibly cost 4 to 5 members their lives, allegedly. Had both men absolutely campaigning to have the other one thrown out of the club at every turn, and basically split the club down the middle. This all lasted for decades. For me, George did nothing wrong here. Sonny was a stone cold piece of shit for this. If it's putting the club above everything else, Sonny missed the mark. He was disloyal to a club brother and an asshole to a friend. There's no other way to put that. By all rights, George should have pulled up Sonny right then and there on his patch. That's conduct unbecoming. Basically, you just totally shit on a brother for a female. It's a cold, cold world, man. Now with Sonny moving off, going to Arizona, it's charter autonomy. Even if George pulls him up, there's nothing that's going to be done. Cave Creek's not going to vote him out. Cave Creek is brand new members under Sonny. All those members, they came from a different club. We'll talk about scumbaggery on a different level some other time when I tell that story. Buffoonery. Now George could have gone for a West Coast vote. That would have backfired. Ultimately, it probably would have cost George his patch earlier, but he could have. What's he do? George tucks it down, eats it, accepts it for now, and moves on, looking for any reason down the road to get Sonny out of the club. Now, only if old George would have looked into Sonny's 1972 trial. May 21st, 1972, Oakland, California. Sergio Agero is in town from McAllen, Texas. Sergio happens to be a large-scale pharmacist of sorts. Sergio's brought with him $80,000 worth of Colombia's finest nasal numbing powder. Now he's staying at the acquaintance of a Hell's Angels, and in the middle of the night, wouldn't you know it, somebody comes in, sends Sergio to the upper room. Now with Sergio taking the deep sleep this time, allegedly Sonny comes in, says we can't leave no evidence, let's light the place up. Anyway it goes, destroying the evidence. That didn't work. It didn't work because Richard Evaldi. That's quite the name you got there, Dick. Evaldi went and he spilled the beans. He gave it all up. That's your man right there. He's the one who did it, Your Honor. What did he testify to? Well, he says he saw Sonny send Sergio to the upper room personally. Now, Sharon, Sonny's wife at the time, she alibis Sonny. She says, nah, he was at home sleeping with me. What are you talking about? There's no way he was up there doing that. Now, curiously, 3 or 4 street pharmacists in the area had met the same fate. In the subsequent trial, Sonny, he's acquitted, found not guilty, and he's free to go. Now, the charges in the trial, those aren't enough to talk about being out bad. What is what Sonny testified to on the stand in this trial. Ted Hilliard, he's a detective or a police officer from Oakland, and he's testifying in this case also. In his testimony, he says that he has been the handler for Sonny for 5 years. Then Sonny takes the stand. Now, Sonny freely admits that for 5 years he has worked with this detective or this police officer, and he's helped him out. What has he helped him out with? Well, anytime they find any bangers or anything that goes boom, they bring it to Oakland PD, and they do this in return for consideration on bail, charges being lowered or dismissed, and other considerations. That's the wording in it. I didn't say it, I just repeated it. So Sonny, he admitted that he had been working with the police for 5 years. Maybe the club knew about it, maybe this was a workover, maybe they were okay with it. I would tend to think that that would have to be the case, right? How can he sit on trial and say, hey, I've been working with the cops for 5 years? Now, where I'm from, working with the cops. If the club didn't know, well, now you guys know. Go look at his 1972 Oakland trial, pull the transcripts, read all about it. Sonny clearly got on the stand and said that he worked with the cops for 5 years. How George didn't know about this, I have no clue. I looked into it for a day and a half. I would think if you were trying to get somebody out, you would at least pull all the transcripts for every trial that they've had, and they've had multiple. Sonny had so many trials. I mean, there's a plethora of stuff. I'm still going through paperwork. I'll still be going through paperwork forever. Now, it is important to say, Sonny never gave anybody, any one person up and said, hey, I'm going to give you this dude. You go ahead and arrest him. Do what you got to. How about those bail amounts being dropped or whatever? Nothing like that ever went on. What did go on was they actively got stuff off the street and took it to the cops. They did the cops' job for them. Where I'm from, that's doing the cops' job for them. And if you do the cops' job for them, it's cop activity. I'm just saying. And we're talking about Sonny Barger here, so it's a little bit heavy, but call me a liar. It's absolutely 100% fact, and I'm not putting any extra on it. I just don't know how that could be swept under the rug. I don't know how that's okay. Even in 1972. I mean, there were standards back then, right? Checks and balances. Nobody sat in on this trial. I don't understand, man. I'm having a hard time with this one. I looked literally for 5 minutes and found it. Now, I was told where to go. Somebody told me, hey, go look at this. But, I mean, come on, man. It's unreal. Unimaginable is what it is. Basically hunting down evidence for them and taking it to them. Here you go. Want me to dance for you too? Uncle Tom foolery. Now, a few months after this, Sonny's house, it was raided. They found 8 bangers. In that subsequent trial, they brought up the testimony from Sonny in the trial before, the 1972 case. They brought up the part where Sonny admitted to being a street pharmacist, selling that wacky stuff. Now, when you admit to it in one trial, in the very next trial, they bring up the fact that you cooperate with the police and admitted to doing nefarious things. That's just not a good look. That day of testimony really bit Sonny in the ass. Had George known about this testimony, there's absolutely no way he wouldn't have brought this up. This would have been what he used to try and get Sonny out of the club. Then, the third incident. July 14th, 2002, Cave Creek, Arizona. Sonny has stepped down as president of Cave Creek, and he's become more of a figurehead, more of an image guy for the club. One night, Sonny and his wife Noelle, they get to getting at it. They're arguing, they're fussing, they're fighting, whatever. What are they fighting about? As Sonny said when he called 911, the slut. Ouch. Now, they could only be talking about Z because after him and Noelle got divorced, he and Z got married. So it stands to reason that that's who they were talking about. Now, this phone call, it wasn't a good look at all. When the operator answered the phone, Sonny Barger tells them, she tried to pull a gun on me and I kicked her. And now she says she can't move and that she's paralyzed. You just put a case on your wife, dude. I mean, there's no two ways about it. She got arrested for a banger, for pulling a banger. That's assault. Because you called the cops and told them that. I mean, I don't know any other way to say it. You put a case on your wife. That should have been it right there. And there should have been zero question about it. Now, members behind the scenes, they started campaigning. They get behind George Christie. And old Gus, he's got what he needs. There's no way it's not. I just don't see it either. George, I don't know. Me and you, we go back and forth, whatever. But you weren't wrong on this one either. When it comes to Sonny Barger, George Christie wasn't wrong. George's actions outside of it are what makes George not good. But when it comes to Sonny dirtbagged and dirtbagged and dirtbagged. Enough members come and they push him, and he does it. He stands up at the West Coast meeting, and he calls for Sonny's patch. Everybody who was supposed to be there behind him, well, it was crickets in that place. They had left old Gus out on an island by himself to take on that big bad whale. After that, members started mysteriously being sent to the upper room when it came to Cave Creek and Ventura. Members that did not deserve anything that had happened to them. And you gotta believe this. Somewhere, some of it had to happen somewhere. I mean, A missing member from Cave Creek's bike was found in the possession of George Christie's son. You think that member deserved any of that? Because two old men are fighting over a woman? Damn. Now the bad blood was all there. And it started over Z, but make no mistake about it, both of them wanted to be the icon. Both of them wanted to be the face of the Hells Angels, and it rubbed the other one the wrong way. Both of them accused each other of making money or whatever off the club while they were both doing it. Let's call it what it is. Richmond, a very prestigious charter to this day, they had a member whose wife went down. The member's wife had a seizure. He calls 911, calls for an ambulance. Somebody come help my wife, please. She's having a medical issue. Richmond pulled him on his patch and kicked him out. Their reason? In Richmond, we don't call 911. This member was put out of the club and by all accounts was an amazing, amazing Hells Angel. But just to prove a point to Sonny, they sacrificed one of their best men. Now, if Richmond feels that way, you know the rest of the club probably does too. But nobody ever called Sonny up. And the reason is he's popular. He's popular as hell. Everybody loves Sonny. Everybody loves Sonny. He's a badass. He did a lot of badass stuff. Probably stuff I'd never find out about too. Everybody has skeletons. Some are worse than others. It doesn't mean that you can just skirt the rules that you have set for your life, right? You can skirt society's rules all you want, but you wrote the rules for the club and then you broke them. That's wild. You were disloyal to a brother, totally thrashed his feelings, and what he cared didn't matter to you, so that you could. And you married Z, and you were married to Z till the day you died. Maybe it was true love. Still wrong. Then you testified in open court that you worked with the police for 5 years. Then you call 911 and put a case on your wife. Any one of those three should have been enough. Any regular member in the Hells Angels is out for less. Somebody kissed somebody's mother one time and got kicked out after 50 years in the club. And you guys all wear the patches that he made, so let's call that what it is. You get kicked out of the club for macking on some dude's mom, but you marry somebody that your club brother says, I don't want her ever around me again, and you bring her around anyway? It's a cold piece. Sonny was cold, ice cold. So what happens? Nothing. Sonny, at 82 years old, 83 years old, passes away. That's a long life for a dude doing all that he did, fighting cancer the whole way and beating it most of the time until finally at 83 it's going to take you. I'll be glad to be 83 years old. I will have lived a full life. I've already lived 4 full lives, so I'll have 4 more. And this was brought to my attention. This was brought from within the club also. Just gonna throw that out there. You guys have fun figuring out who did it, since you guys like to fucking play that game a lot. Sorry, I just ant or something in my shoe biting my foot. He's like, don't say it, fool. I'm gonna say it anyway. Jethro and Papa's funerals were amazing, completely becoming of how popular they were in the motorcycle club and the Hells Angels world. Sonny Barger was a god in that world. His funeral, it lacked. The Speedway, still nowhere near theirs, right? Now that's not enough to say, oh, whatever. The turnout was poor at his funeral compared to, that didn't pique, I mean, it piques my interest a little bit, but not in a big way. What piques my interest is this. Sonny went back to Oakland. He went back to the Oakland charter, presumably to be buried an Oakland member with the Oakland members. Sonny isn't even buried in Oakland. Sonny was buried in Sacramento. His funeral was held in Stockton. Cisco's up on that hill. Big Al's up on that hill. There's a lot of men up on that hill right there in that plot, that family plot, that Hells Angel Oakland plot with their headstones, with the death heads. Sonny doesn't have a headstone with a death head. There's no Hells Angels anything on Sonny's headstone. And he's not even buried with the members. Why? You cannot tell me that anything would have stopped Sonny from being buried in Oakland. So either his family made a decision to disregard that man's entire life in burying him and not have any Hells Angels anything in sight of his burial ground, or Sonny was out bad. Now, I have heard rumblings that they did an emergency short vote and vote Sonny out. Maybe Sonny passed away before the vote. I don't know. And those men aren't going to say, he's gone. Fuck it. Just keep him from being buried up there. That's all that matters, right? Now, everything that I just laid out to you says, hey, Sonny shouldn't be buried up there, right? Sonny should have been put out of the club bad. Take Z away, right? Take just being a dick away, right? To George. The other two are plenty good reasons, but it doesn't seem like the Hells Angels like good reasons. It's almost like it's got to be bullshit to go out to Hells Angels. You can't be kicked out in bad standing for something that's an actual, real, legit good reason and the truth. They'll use a good reason if it's not the truth. Trust that. There's a guy walking around right now in the Nomads in California that got caught red-handed with a half-naked treste. You speak Spanish, that's how many moons she's been on this planet for a grown-ass man. In the club still, though. That's my point. So, I don't know. I can't call it. I mean, I can. He moved to Cave Creek. It was a brilliant move. Who's going to vote him out of Cave Creek? Nobody. There was a P that took over for Sonny. Curiously, he passed away. Go figure. Maybe that's why nobody wanted to vote him out. Maybe George is the only one who had the balls to do it. And that's crazy to say that because, I mean, on this subject matter, I take George's side 100%. But on a whole, I'm coming for George next with the tapes for him talking to the cops in Ventura. So this is a twofer. I'm not on either one of their sides. I think both of them should have been put out of the club in bad standing. I said it. You have men like Mr. 187 and Jethro. Absolute beast soldiers. Did it the right way till the end. Went out the right way. Let anybody in that club say that they worked with the police for 5 years. That's a big secret. I don't know how nobody's found it. I don't know how, but nobody knows about this. Detective Hilliard, 1972 in Oakland. Go look it up. Detective Hilliard. That's what you're looking for, is that testimony. And of course, Sonny's own words, his own testimony. I don't even want to trap no more. I don't even want to drill no more. This is crazy. Sonny Barger admitted on the stand, and George had to search for a reason to put him out. Got a good enough reason and still couldn't do it. That's insanity. Now, Sonny did keep checks and balances. All this bullshit wasn't going on, this kicking out members for decades-long members. That wasn't happening when Sonny was in the club, because he'd call up and be like, hey, you lost your mind? I'm going to come down there and wrap your ears. And on the way, I might, find a banger and turn it into the local PD. Too soon? I don't think so. What do you think, Clayton Bigsby? God damn. Boy, if he could see, he'd see my disappointment. That's a fact. Like I'd already known that he had those tendencies. Just goes to show, man. When you alpha everybody, you get away with the world. Do whatever you want. Who's going to tell you different? What do you guys think? You think it's just a coincidence that Sonny is buried off by himself? They put him in like a military. I don't even really want to go there. I mean, can anybody tell me how long Sonny was in the military? And this isn't, I guess it is geared to shitting on Sonny, but that's not my point in this. My point is, did they put him out bad? We'll never know. They're not going to say. It's not that long ago. Hey, thanks for coming to Vegas Profile Stories. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.
What's up, everybody? This is my nephew, Mikey. Mikey, say hello.
What's up?
Well, he wasn't looking at Suge anymore, but now for the first time he's looking at me, and I'm asking him who shot him. And then he looks at me and he says,
Hey, YouTube wants a sock check, homie. Let's see them socks.
What's going on, dog?
Well, my name's Chad Hauer. I'm also known as the TikTok fugitive. I've been wanted by the FBI and Interpol for 17 years.
Did it leave a mark?
Yeah, right there. Oh. Betty! Pee-wee.
This is it.
This is it. So Rob from Ventura.
Yeah, and other places amongst the world.
VA. Last time we were talking, we started to talk about...
I can handle myself. I ain't never been no coward or needed people to, fight my battles.
That was a rough one. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be shit. I'm tired. I'm trying to get back into it. Built the studio up. Microphone. Chair. Trying to be like it was. It's a lot quieter without Scarlett sitting next to me, and that's maddening. We adapt, though. Just doesn't feel right. Take it easy, guys.